75 miles per hour, came to a screeching halt.
Somewhere along the line, we discovered that we didn't have a 40-foot bus, we had a 35-foot bus.
We didn't want to wait until an age to retire.
Hi, we're Tom and Jody Shannon, and this is our 2005 All-American Bluebird bus, and we've been on the road since July 31st of 2022, so officially a little over 2.5 months. This is our living room, and here we had a friend that custom made both of the two pieces of furniture for us. And here we have a nice dining room with a bench, complete with storage where I keep all of my games and puzzles and cards, and a nice storage area over here for all of our electronics. And this actually lowers all the way down here and can fit a small person or Tom in fetal position. But mostly we have only used it for dining so far. And he and his son also built this bench, which is really nice. They both extend out. Both of these come out all the way. And we have a twin size air mattress that we put up there for guests when we have people staying over. The favorite part about this area for me is when Tom is actually driving the bus, I do like to sit here and be able to look out the window and enjoy the scenery and get things done and write planning down and actually use it as a working desk with a nice view on our trips. Hi, this is our kitchen, and Tom is an excellent cook, and so it was very important to him that he has a lot of space to cook and to prepare. He does do a lot of grilling outside, but we have often found that obviously when it's cold or rainy that we do a lot of cooking in here as well. And we did decide on real countertops and full-size cabinets that we bought from Menards. And we just put RV latches in them so that they stay nice and tight. We haven't had any issues with the cabinets that have the RV latches in them. Some of these kind of pull out because they're frameless, didn't really have anything to attach to. So we have figured that out along the way, trial and error. But we also have a propane 3-burner stove. Still have a drawer to put in down here that we just haven't installed it yet because we're still always working on projects. And we do have a 110-volt apartment fridge with the freezer and the fridge in this cabinet. And haven't used all of our appliances yet, but we did bring all of our things from the big house, as far as the Instapot, Ninja Grill, Ninja Blender, all the things that I just recently gained confidence that we can run that off of the solar that we have. So we will be pulling those out, I'm sure, as it gets colder and we do more cooking inside. Our original floor plan called for a kitchen to have an L that actually came into a hard L shape, and at the angle behind that to have 2 bar stools. So we actually had a different kind of seating arrangement for our kitchen eating and to be able to face out the bus. Somewhere along the line, we discovered that we didn't have a 40-foot bus, we had a 35-foot bus. And 5 feet is a lot in this tiny space. But we did settle because we did like the angle of the kitchen. Just provided a little more dimension and a nice transition and a segue to the upstairs. So we haven't quite completed what we want to do for the front of the bus yet. We're still figuring that out and looking at other schoolies for ideas. But one of the things that we did have done, again, we had a couple friends come over and work on this template, and our nephew did some trim work. And originally they were going to be cabinets with doors where we could store all of our things. And basically we just kind of felt like we were running out of time. And as they were open and I started filling them in, we both kind of were like, well, that looks kind of cute like that. So a lot of the things that we have up there are not permanent because we know as we adventure on and find new really cool things along the way, those are the Chatsky things that we're going to want to have up there instead. But get a lot of compliments on it just because it makes the bus looks a little cuter. So we do have a Pioneer mini split that obviously installed here in the bulkhead, but runs all the way through the track of the lines to the back of the bus. and it's come in hugely helpful because we were hot in the summer, of course, and ran the air conditioning. Actually, we installed the air conditioning. Again, a friend came in and welded and charged and did all of the things to help us with that. But we desperately needed that air conditioning while we were doing the bus build in June and all of July, and then still working on projects in August. So air conditioner was great. And now we're finding that as the temperatures are dropping down to high 30s every night, we've been running the mini split for heat. A couple times when we, over the summer, we have used it for dehumidification. So the mini split's been great for us, and we thankfully have enough solar to run that on so we can be powered up all day and then run heat most of the night. But it's insulated so well that we have found that actually we don't use the heat all night. We kind of save it, tap it on in the morning when we're out and about and drinking our coffee and want to be warmer. So yeah, the mini split's been great for us.
2 years ago in Dayton, Ohio, there's a outdoor experience, and we met a lot of people. There were probably 15 vans that were there, and they all told us their stories of how they purged everything and went this nomadic lifestyle. And I thought they were kind of nuts at the beginning, but the more we talked about it, the more we thought about it. We didn't want to wait until an age to retire. We wanted to go ahead and live life now. I'm 54, I think, 54 years old. My wife is not as old as I am. But we didn't want to wait until we finished working a traditional job and make another career for another 20 years or so. So we ripped up roots and trying to make our way on this nomadic lifestyle.
So when we did all of that purging, we sold our house. We actually had a lot of things going on. Our daughter was joining the military, and we were getting ready to go to Europe on vacation, and we were selling the house. And at first it was a lot of emotional attachments to me because we raised the kids there and all of our kids' friends, and we had tons of parties and tons of friends, and the house was kind of an epicenter for everything that said everything people needed to know about us. And but once you tear off that Band-Aid and realize, yeah, that's stuff, I don't know why I have that, I don't ever use it. Why do we need 3 versions of it? So some of those things that were simple to kind of rip away and get rid of. We also watched a movie from 2 guys, I think they're originated from Dayton. I think it's called The Minimalist, and we watched that movie and we were like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Why are we cluttering our lives and our minds and our house up with stuff? So we got rid of everything pretty much that we had out of the big house, and then somehow when we moved into the apartment downtown and started getting rid of those things, we found out that we actually had accumulated some stuff, but we were still living with way more things than we actually needed just to be functional through a daily life. So here we have everything very minimalistic. We have enough just to entertain about 6 people at a time, with real dishes and real silverware and things like that. And then, but basically we're just finding that life is easier and more enjoyable when it's not cluttering us down, or thinking that we have to have the next best thing, or worrying about getting something that somebody else has or something like that. So it's actually quite liberating.
So as you know, we're from Dayton, Ohio, and it gets kind of cold in the wintertime. So the idea of having the plumbing outside the bus, I was really worried about that. We travel a lot to Michigan, a lot of Indiana, northern states. So what I did here is I brought the floor up a foot to have all my plumbing from the bathroom, the shower, the urine diverter, and our sink under the stairs here, but all coagulate to underneath the sink and then out to our waste drain. So that's why I have the 2 steps here. We have a 20-inch roof raise. I'm 6'3". So even with the foot additional steps, I still have plenty of room to walk in here. So come on upstairs. Welcome to our bathroom. Like I said before, I wanted to have a additional foot height to put all the plumbing inside. So what I did in the bathroom is we have this stone mosaic, and I also brought the pan in the shower up another 6 inches. This for additional space in there to let the air make sure that the pipes don't freeze when they're full. So it's a pretty cool bathroom. It's all cedar. Our son-in-law's father gave us the cedar for the walls. So all we did is put the cedar up, put beeswax and mineral oil on there, and it's fantastic. Got the shower head from Amazon. What I did though is I wanted an additional height. So I'm 6'3", as I said. I fit in here just fine. But what I did is I built a skylight in the bathroom. So when it's really cold outside or rainy or whatever, it's kind of cool to pop that open, and the shower head will expand or extend 2 feet higher outside the bus, so it feels like there's a waterfall coming in. So it's pretty slick. Our sink, what I did is I went to Menards again, and on the scratch and dent, the broken thing, I got a regular cabinet and put leftover cedar on the cabinet just to kind of hide it like I built it. But it works great. I had my buddy Jeremy make our, I call this a poop dehydrator instead of a toilet, because it actually dehydrates our poop. When no one really talks about this on all the videos I see, is poop. But what we have in here is we have a urine diverter that men and women all have to sit down. Our urine goes into one hole down to the gray tank. And then we actually have a trash can that came with a bus that I kept. And we just put a trash bag in there, and we poop in a bucket. And then when we're done, we put the coconut husk on there, and then we have a fan that constantly runs in there, hence the dehydrator. So the fan is running 24/7, and it dehydrates and expels all the smells and the moisture outside the bus. We have 75 gallons of fresh water I have under the bed. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then 65 gallons of gray water that, like I say, merge down in the gray tank underneath the bus. I figure 10 gallons of consumption, of human consumption, of course, of water that we have. So I'm thinking that 75 gallons will empty into 65 gallons in about 7 to 8 days. We take showers, a good long shower. We take one about every other day. Really quick shower, spray our feet and all that type of stuff. With this about every day. So we really have not worried too much about the amount of water that we need. Welcome to the bedroom. I wanted to show you something else that Menards in Fairborn, Ohio helped us out a lot. We had a dresser issue. I didn't know where to put it or how to make it or whatever. So I went to talk to the folks there at Menards, and they suggested I make this system. So that helps out tremendously. They're pretty nice sized drawers, but in addition to that, we have another part of the bed that actually hooks up. So you could tell it's probably about 4 feet of storage underneath the mattress that we could store my fly fishing equipment, the fly equipment, all the other ancillary stuff that we don't have to mess with every single day is under there. In addition to that, I wanted a little extra storage. Like I said before, I built the deck that we're on a foot higher. So underneath all of the storage, I have live wells like on a bass boat that I could lift up, and that's where I keep all my ancillary tools, grinders and welders and stuff I don't use very often. So if there is ever a time I need to get my tools, all I gotta do is pop the drawers out, climb under there, open up that live well, and pull out all the bulk items that I need. So it's a really efficient extra storage that we normally don't have. One thing I wanted to do is have safety as well. So when I'm on the bus by itself, it's okay. But when I'm away from the bus and Jody's here by herself on overnights or something like that, I wanted to make sure that she felt comfortable. So what I'm doing is I'm rigging up a system. It's called a skylight system. And what it is if you all seen Panic Room, there's that one panic button that all the lights open up and everything starts happening to keep her secure. So if she's in bed and I'm not here, then all she has to do is activate the switch in the front. And then at night when she's here by herself, if she hears somebody rumbling outside, she hits that panic button and all of our floodlights outside will illuminate and hopefully scare some away. And then she also wants me to add some dog barking sounds to that activation. So that's going to be the next trick.
Currently, Tom is in sales and he works for a company remotely. And I actually just quit my job June 30th at a job that I loved and people I love to work with. So now I'm currently looking to rebuild that emergency savings fund and to continue this lifestyle. So it is my intention to start looking for a remote job that I can do from the bus.
And my background, spent 25 years in the military as a flight medic, 445th at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. But one of the good things about having a military background is the insurance that we have. I get all my insurance through the VA. I did retire, so Jody will have my insurance as well. So that gives us a little bit more flexibility than the people who may not have the means for insurance. But there's always a way.
Always solutions.
Always a solution. Jody has in her water bottle. Everything is figure-outable. So if insurance or income or whatever's holding you back, everything is figure-outable. So let's get out there and do it. So as we talk about the outside, I want to bring to your attention the roof raise. I'm 6'3", and most of the school buses are only 6 feet tall on the inside. So I didn't want to duck around and walk around the schoolie all the time. So what I did is I drove this bus down to Hendersonville, North Carolina. The schoolie.net folks gave us a heck of a job and raised the roof by 20 inches. So that was done by them. I went down to North Carolina to pick up the bus, and I drove it home like a giant beer can because it was just nothing but silver all the way around it. Went home and bought these 5 RV windows for $300 at an RV surplus center, and watched a ton of YouTube on how to weld. Bought a welder from Harbor Freight and welded the frames and cut the holes in the school bus, and so far so good. You know, nothing's fallen out yet. One of the biggest things that we always talk about when we're in school is to have a cash reserve. A lot of people say $10,000 is enough. I'm saying that that's a good amount, but I want to tell you a quick story real quick. These are bearings inside the wheels, and it's important to do pre-trip checks, okay? And a lot of people in the schoolie lifestyle aren't really mechanics, me being one of them. I didn't know to check that. And what happened was the oil hub ran out of a seal in the back, and basically we were driving on I-94 in Michigan, and the front tire fell off. So it's kind of interesting. It's called grenading. So these bearings in there get so hot that they actually go off like a hand grenade on the middle of the highway. It was quite interesting. 75 miles per hour, came to a screeching halt. I got off the interstate, luckily. I turned left into a side street, took another left to a truck stop, turned right in the parking lot to straighten the bus, and then that's when the wheel fell off. So the rainy day fund of $10,000. A quick check, $13 of pre-maintenance cost $10,000. So the rainy day fund was gone in one massive storm. So check your wheel bearings. We picked this bus for 2 reasons. First reason is because it was our hometown in Dayton, Ohio. So it was locally sourced, so I knew the mechanic. Went to the mechanic's garage and asked him which bus I should get. He said bus 14, and that's what I got. So these came with underground storages. So I have 2 underground storage. That's where you keep all our chairs, our grill, and all that type of stuff. I wanted to have outdoor lighting for LED lights and maybe you know, a stereo or something like that. So I put 2 plugs on the outside that are plumbed into our electrical system in the back. And then in the back, we added 2 additional storage compartments back there. One of my crowning achievements, I don't know if you can see it in the screen here, but is the mini split condenser. I didn't know what to do. Like I said, we lived in Ohio, Michigan, Indiana. So I was worried about the slush and the grime from the roads. A lot of people put their condensers on the bottom of their bus, and I was worried about all the grime and the dust and all that type of stuff. I couldn't figure out how to put it up, and then I finally got this system here. So it's this unistrut with 4 carriage bolts on the top and the bottom, and I have unistrut inside, and it kind of sandwiches up to the frame. So it's also my chin-up bar if I ever do chin-ups, but I don't work out anymore, so I'm retired from the military. I don't have to do that. So this is our garage. Like Jody said, we were supposed to have a 40-foot bus. I made a mistake and bought a 35-foot, so we had to really work on our storage. So I have a 2-foot deep garage with our jackets and all that type of stuff, but my solar system is underneath here as well. So I have 4 100 amp hour Battleborn batteries, and I have the 3000 Vectron energy solar system right here. So it runs, we haven't ran it out of power yet. We run everything we want to, and we don't slack on anything. So.
Yeah, we're brand new at it, and but we do have an Instagram handle. It's seeking.shenanigans, and it's shenanigans spelled like our last name, SHANNONAGANS. So seeking.shenanigans. Yeah, so if this is a life that you have been considering, I, for one, during COVID, went down a rabbit hole and started looking at YouTube after YouTube, and we spent a lot of time looking at schooly videos, and kind of fueled the fire for us to explore this kind of lifestyle. And I can tell you just 2.5 months in that yes, the answer to that is yes. The community is awesome, and it's super fun to be able to travel around the states and see different things and meet new people. Absolutely love meeting new people. So I would say if it's something that you're considering, come to a swarm or come to something where you can check it out for yourself and see if it's right for you. But we appreciated having you here today and checking us out, and we hope to see you down the road.
Peace out.